Hello, Tamara here from Poshcat Crafts. Nice of you to join me. In today's video we're going to start by decorating and making up page 1 in our mini book. This is using the new dies that have just been released from Tonic Studios, and it's their second collection into the world of mini book making. The dies are just brilliant. They really do make it as easy as 1, 2, 3. In my first video I showed you how to make up the spine, the front and the back, and then how to attach the front and the back cover. You may want to go back and watch that first if you would like to craft along with me before you watch this one. I'll post a link just in the corner there. So if you want to click on that, it will take you then to that video. So let's get started. So what we need, we're going to need a sheet of cardstock, and that's going to make up our 2 pages. And then you need your corresponding die. So my one that is for this album is the 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 die size. And then how we're going to place these onto our paper. I'm using the trusty Gemini today. As I said in my previous video, I'm using the metal shim with these dies. I found that using the magnetic shim, the pressure was too great, so the pages the pages just warped and they wouldn't sit flat. So I thought, right, well, I'll take that out and then I'll use the metal shim, and that seemed to do the trick. So what we're going to do is we're going to place our piece of paper and onto the metal shim, and then the die on the top. Now I'm going to stick that down when I can find some tape. Just bear with me. And there we go. I'm going to say I can never find it. So I'm just going to take some of the tack off because I don't want it to pull my card. There we go. So put it there. And then I'll do one at the bottom, like so. Then put our sheet on the top. Make sure you've turned it on, and off we go. So that's 1 page cut. I'm just going to take that bit off. Now this memory book is based on one of the mini albums that I made for the launch of these memory books on Hochanda. And some lady who's left me a lovely comment had asked if I would do a step-by-step guide of how I made that album. So I thought, well, I'm going to go through step by step, simple, clear instructions of how I made that up. So let's just put our second one through. Our pages have been cut out now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to trim off this part here of our card because we don't need it, and we're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch gap, okay, between where our stitch line is and where we cut. So try and get your paper as straight as possible. Use the bottom of the page as your guide, and then cut off. You don't want to leave too much page showing, because when you come to put it into your album, you want the pages to sit flush. You don't want them to protrude past. There we go, like so. Okay, like that. Hopefully, there, that's brilliant. So that's our 2 pages cut. So for the first page, I'm not going to stick the pages together just yet. I'm going to wait until I've decorated one, and then we'll stick that one down, and then we'll decorate the other side, and then we'll stick that on as well. So then that gives you your hidden hinge in there, like so. So for the first page, I'm going to use these dies from Tonic Studios. This is their Memory Book Maker. This is the base creator die set, and it comes like this. So you've got various sizes of albums that you can make, and we're going to use this size, this one here, and this size measures roughly 5 inches by, say, about 4. So it's about 5 by 4. So we need some cards and our plates. Here. Hopefully I'll get to, I think I will. Now you want to leave about, I'd say, 1/4 of an inch gap between the top of your die, because as of the other with the other dies that we've used, they've only got a cutting edge around. This side here is not a cutting edge, it's just blank. So you can then make this part as wide or as small as you want to. Now I'm going to make that a little bit wide because I want to bend that over so that can act as my hinge. So if we leave about 1/4 of an inch, so between, there we go, so 1/4 of an inch from this part here to the edge of our paper. Just tear that off, because what we're going to do is we're going to neaten this up in a minute, and we're going to cut them at diagonals. Do the same for this side. Oh, just got enough. I might have to bring this down just a touch just to get the whole of that in. So this is our second flap. I'm going to save all these little tiny pieces because you never know. I think we all must have a drawer full of you never know pieces of card. Right. Okay, so that's them cut out. I'm just gonna move this out of the way for a moment because I'm not going to stick them down yet because I want to put our pattern paper on first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my scoreboard, if I can find it. There we go. I haven't rehearsed this, as you might be able to tell, so it's crafting as I would craft normally. So let me just find my bone folder. Okay, then what you want to do is you want to give yourself a score line. Now that's just perfect where I want it. Again, you want to just leave about not a quarter of an inch, sorry, 1/8 of an inch. There we go, can we see? You see where I've scored it there. So about 1/8 of an inch. And then that's just going to create our fold. So we've got a nice neat fold. Okay. Burnish it so it's nice and neat. We'll do the other one. And again. And then give it a nice straight fold. Okay. Right, so there are our two flaps. Okay, and then going to go over like so. Okay, I'm going to flap like that, one open and one the other side. So what we're going to do with the corners here, so the excess part of the flap that we've got, we're just going to neaten them up and we're just going to cut them at a diagonal. And you see, and then that just neatens that up, and then it also takes away some of this card so it's not as bulky. So you need to do that on both, like so. Just tidy up. Right, we've cut our two extra flaps out of our Memory Book Maker 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do them this side like that, so that you can only see really one, like that. You do it over here because then you can see black's not the best colour. We're going to decorate first of all with our pattern paper, and I'm going to use some Graphic 45, and I don't really want to. So, okay, so then that'll open like so, and then this will open the other way like that, and then I'm going to have one of these tags in the middle. Just checking it will fit. Yes, perfect. Right, so now is the question of what Graphic 45 paper do we use. Now I'm using the Botanical Tea. It's really nice, beautiful paper, and it's the smell. So that's page 1. I may go with that one, I think, because I like the... Yep, so let's go with that one. This is where you measure about 5 times and then hopefully cut once. So we need then our layer die for this corresponding page. Right, here we go, I found them. So the corresponding layer die is this one here, and then it's just going to fit perfectly over our page like so. So we are going to use this bit here, and I'm going to get it as near to that as I can. just have to smell it. Okay, so that's that. Get our plates. Place it on. And we need our stickies. Okay, right, stick. Right, so that's that cut out. I'm going to use the right side. Like so. Oh, it just looks so nice. Okay. So that's the first page, not nearly complete, but with the decorative paper. It all comes together now. Then we're going to put that one over the top. I think what I may do, no, I don't think that'll work. I was going, oh, it might do. No, it won't. So it has to go over there. That's okay, no problem. Right. So I use wet glue for my glue. It's my go-to glue, and this glue, I personally haven't found any glue as good, and that's my it's all personal preference, and this one is mine. It gives you that wiggle time so that you can get everything in place, and it doesn't seem to buckle the paper when you put it on. There we are. So that's one page with the beautiful paper on. Okay, now these ones. Right, what we're going to do now is put our double-sided tape This is a 1/4 inch high tack tape. So yeah, it's just over 1/4 inch. This one is 3/4 inch. No, it's not. I beg your pardon. It is 5/8 inch. It took time to work that out. I must need new glasses. Make sure you put your high-tack tape on the outside edge of your flap and not the inside. It doesn't matter if you have done it on the inside because this is going to be hidden anyway. So once you've done that, we're going to stick them down to our first page. So you need to take off your high-tack tape, put your backing, and let's stick them down. Okay. What you need to do is you need to stick them down so that they are flush with the edge of your page here. Otherwise you're not going to have enough room. So I'm just going to have to put it down like that so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, it looks about right. Burnish down. Like so. And then the other one. Now I would line it up with the one that you've just stuck down, and then very carefully place it down and then stick. And then there you have your flap. Okay. Right, we're also going to add some magnets to this to keep it closed, and a little tab here, like a pull tab, so that you can pull it up and down. So it's going to sit like this, so in our book, like that. So I'm going to have it, my flap opening that way. So we need magnets here. Okay, so 1, 2, and then I'm going to put one there, and then the other one's going to go underneath. So how I hold the magnets down, I use a little bit of tape to get it stuck first of all. So you want to position it not right on the edge, otherwise you're going to see it once you put your layers on. So, you know, about, I don't know, an inch inwards. Let's just measure that to make sure you can see. So yeah, about 3/4 of an inch in you need to place your magnet if you're going to use magnets. You don't have to use magnets, but I just think it adds a really nice touch. Right, so that's that, and that's that, and then we're going to put it on there. And then what I'm going to do is, right, can you see what I've done? So that's the top one that I've done, and I've stuck it down with some tape. Now my other magnet, what I've done is I've put my tape on the opposite way, so it's like that. So the magnet is kind of sitting on top of the tape. And then what I do is I attach it to the bottom like that, so it's on the same page, you can see, and then you just stick it down, and then hopefully the tape will have stuck in the correct place. Might take a couple of tries to do it, but just to get it down in the right place. There we go. So then that is now stuck. So now we can put our papers over the top, and you won't see it. This is what I found. It's just some very pretty rose ribbon. I thought it would go really well with the paper, so I've cut a tiny bit off, and then what I'm going to do is I've put some double-sided sticky tape down on both sides, just to give it the initial stick, and try and get it as near as in the middle as you can, like that. You don't have to use ribbon, you could use paper, you could use what else could you use, a brad if you wanted to. There's lots of different ways you can use to, you know, give you like a little finger lift. So that goes on there like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just staple a couple of staples in there, just so that it's doubly secure. Now somewhere, I have a stapler. Okay. You don't need many, just 1 or 2. I might actually put 3 in this. Okay. Then what I then do is I just use my hammer. So a bit of noise just to flatten the staples. There we go. And then they are flush then. And then that then is ready for our pattern paper, like that. I'm really pleased with that. Now I might even just put another one there, but I'm going to put my pattern paper on first just to see what it looks like. So I'm going to use the back of the roses one that I've just used. I'm going to use the back of that. Right, let me just have a quick tidy up. Get everything out of the way. So I'm going to use the layer die for the page. So as you can see, they fit very smartly and snugly. So I'm going to get, I don't know, oh, I could just get it in there, I think. Maybe, baby. Okay, let's just cut down here. Like so. Put that to one side. Get our cutting plates. And we're going to secure this down. Like so. One. Now we're going to have to cut out 4 of these. So throw that bit in the bin, and I'll get one there. Now, yes, I'm going to cut there. So I'm going to cut 2 out with the, I don't know what they are actually. They actually look like orange segments, but I don't think they'll be orange segments. They might just be, let's see. What do you think they may be? Maybe wheels? I don't know if you can see those. Okay, that's 2. I'm going to save this tiny little piece because you never know, I might get a label out of that. And then the last one, I'm going to cut out the flowers, but I'm going to have to cut them out this way so that when they're on my book they are the right way up. So just be mindful of that when you're cutting your own pattern paper. If it's gotten a directional, make sure you place your die the way that you want the pattern to show. See, if I cut my die out that way, the long ways, when it goes into my book it will be like that. So the pattern is not the right, it's horizontal, and I want it to be vertical like that. So we're going to put that in there. I'm going to secure it down. I don't always secure my paper to my die down, but because this is a graphic 45, I want to be 100% sure that the die is not going to move. Okay, so that's our third one cut out, and then I'm hoping, please, no, just not enough. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, not to worry. Oh, I might get it there. I may, at a push, get it there. Let's give it a go. Fingers crossed. Let's get another piece of tape there. Okay, do not move. Fingers crossed. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, just a bit short, but not to worry because I can disguise that. Just a little bit short there. Look at that, just that part there and there, but that's not bad. That's okay, I can live with that. So again, keep all the little odd bits, the oddments. So right, I'm going to put them in a pile. Move this out of the way. Bring in our page, and we can start to layer the pages on. Now, let me have a look at that. So, I can either have that one on the front, or I think I'm going to go with this one actually, just to break it up a bit. Yeah, so, and I think what I may do is I'm going to put a few staples in just there once I've glued it down. So we need then to put the glue. So I tend to put quite a bit of glue onto the magnet, and I'll just put a little bit on there. Don't want to put too much on because I don't want to over gauge where the layer is going to be. So, okay, and plenty of glue up here. Right, let's stick this down. And remember, if you're using wet glue, you have that wiggle time. I don't know why, I just really like saying that. I think it's the wiggle. Okay, so that's that. Actually, I may leave it. I'm going to wait and see. Let's wait and see. But then what I'll need to do is, I'm just going to, in a minute, let me just get this one on. And then this one here, I'm going to put on the back like that, but I'm going to do it on the other side. So this one first, this one on there. Okay, our glue. This is such pretty paper. It really is. I'm terrible. Once I get a pretty paper and if you don't use it, once I used it, I have to go and buy it again so that I've got one spare. Okay, so that's that page and that page done. Now we're going to put this one on here, like that. Now you could also, if you wanted to, use your Distress inks and ink around the edges if you wanted to, just to add a bit more of an aged feel. It's entirely up to you. I forgot to do it when I did the first page here, so I'm not going to carry it on, otherwise I would have done. But what I'll do is I'll show you on a scrap piece of card what it looks like, and then you can make your own decision. So that's that, and then the last one I'm going to put here. Now I'm going to cover this, the part that hasn't cut, I'm going to cover that with maybe a band of some sort, but we'll come to that at a later date. Okay, put this one on. And put it down. Okay, burnish it round. And there we've completed our first page. We're going to cut the label that goes on the back of our flap now. So I'm going to use some black card. Let's see if I've got an odd one, which I have. That's why it's good to keep all the odd sizes. Okay, so we're going to put that one on like so. Let me get okay, so this is the base of our tag stroke label. There it goes. So that's our first one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to trim this bit off like that. Now I want to cut it as near to the stitch line as I can. Now, this one may be a little bit more tricky because we haven't got straight edge to cut from, although maybe not. No, actually that's going to be fine because them two are straight. So I'll bring it up. Can you see? And then our stitch line is just there. So as near as you can to that line. Okay. Brilliant. So it looks like that. So it's the same either end. So this is where we cross our fingers to hope that it fits. Oh, look at that. It's perfect. That's a testament to these dies. Everything is just made to fit so perfectly. Now we could have made this one into a flap as well if we wanted. Well, we actually could, and we might do that on a different one. It's given me another idea. Maybe we could have put smaller labels in, but we'll do that on maybe another page. So right, we can stick that one down, but then we're going to need our cardstock. Now I did say either cream card or we may go a bit more fancy and go for some pearlescent. We can, right, I'm back. So I've got two options here. Option one, I can go with the pearlescent Centura Pearl. This is the ivory colour, or just plain smooth cream. All decisions. Okay, so that's going to then layer nicely on there, like that, and then that's going to fit on there. Now we've created our base tag. What I am going to do is I'm only going to glue down the edges, and then I'm going to create then some labels that go behind so that you can pull out. So let's stick this down. Just do the edges like so, and then stick down. There we go. And then shut that up, and then you've got your hidden. Bring it down just a bit. Nope. Okay, I'm going to use that there as my guide. Right, I've stuck that down now. So that is near enough our first page done. I am going to do the labels that go in the back there. You can see there's a tiny little gap. So there's just room for one. So I think I may put one in there. So you open it up by pulling that. So you've got some space there and some space there. And then you have your journal tab there, and then we're going to make a small little label that goes at the back. Now I don't know whether to make the same sort or go, actually no, let's go with a page from the Keepsake set, which goes in there. So I could put a couple of those in. So let's get cutting with these. And then we can stick that on. Then what I may do when we get extra extra pattern paper, I'm going to put some extra pattern paper on the back. I don't want to cut into another sheet because I'd have to do a brand new sheet, so I'll wait until we've got some offcuts, because we have to be a bit frugal when it comes to graphic 45. Then that will go behind there like that, and then you've got an extra place there for writing, etc, etc. So that is our first page completed, apart from doing the embellishments. Page 2. So for page 2 we're going to create a flap, and we're going to be using the Keepsake Maker book dies. I've just gone down a size in the die to what my actual page is. Warm, really. It's been one of the UK's hottest days today. Okay, now I'm going to leave a little bit of a margin on this because I'm going to use that as my hinge to flap around. One. Okay, put them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cut the pattern paper yet. I could do, but I want to sort of get this sorted out first. Right, we need the trimmer. Again, leave quite a bit of quite a lot of this excess cardstock, probably about 1/4 of an inch if you can. So let's go to that. Yeah, that'd be about right. You need to score this now. Where has that bone folder gone? Just, there we go. Okay. Don't score on the don't score on the stitched lines. Score just after it. Okay. And then just fold, because then that is going to wrap around to create the hinge. Again, just trim the excess corners off like that. We have our 2 smaller pages cut out now and folded over. So what we're going to do is we're going to place them onto the page like so. Okay, so we're going to add a double-sided tape on the outside, not the inside. And there we go. Okay, finish down. So that's 1 and 2, although this one is a little smaller. So it doesn't matter because this will be covered. So we're not going to stick them down yet because we're going to put our pattern paper on first, but that is going to go like that. So before we do our pattern paper, no, actually no, that's we'll cut that now. Now my dies are going vertical, not horizontal this time, so I'm going to put my die there and just carefully cut around it. Like so. Now before I stick them down, the panels down, I'm going to have to think about what closure I'm going to use, and I've not decided yet, and these are going to go underneath. So I'm going to now get the studio light, and I'm going to cut one more, not one of those, beg your pardon, let's double check, yes, this one here. I'm just going to cut this out, because then we can start to assemble our page. So now we can put our pattern paper onto our base page, and we can start to assemble it. Hold on one moment. No, yes, I'm going to have to. Sorry, I'm thinking ahead. Right, so glue, turn it around, give it a little wiggle, and burnish down. Okay, so that's another part of our page done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to adhere our, so here goes. I think that is about right. Okay. Might need to put just a little bit of glue in there and squeeze down. Okay. Excellent. And then we're going to do the other page, like so. Stick that down. Need a pokey tool. And again, what I would do is line them up so that they are equal at the ends, and then very carefully push down. Like so. And stick when you're happy. There we go. Right, I'm going to use a magnet closure, I think, on this, because I haven't got enough space on this side. So, same sort of principle as we did the first one, using our sticky tape. Okay, using our sticky tape, I'm just going to place the magnet on the outside, like that, roughly in the middle as you can get it, although it doesn't really matter. It's more in, if you get it more in the middle of here, just it comes open easy enough. Okay, just find out, so that's that way. Find out which, because you've obviously got a negative and a positive and a negative. So this is my positive, so I'm going to turn it over and put the, it's probably the wrong way. Yeah, it needs to go the other way. So I need to put the tape on, like that. Okay, so the tape's on there like that. You put it into position. I keep working over there, don't I? So put it into position. So I've done the one on the outside, stuck it down with some tape, and then on the inside one is I've put the sellotape with the non-sticky side towards the back of this card, and then this part here is the sticky that I've then put the magnet on. So just fold your page over, and that should then have stuck. There we are. And then when we put our pattern paper across, it just keeps that nice and neatly closed. Okay, so let's start to get this to be a page. So put some glue on our magnet. Okay, I'm going to bring that over because I tend to be working over here, so okay, give it a little wiggle and then burnish down. Okay, there's one, and then put this one here. Again, extra glue. Okay. Give it a little wiggle. So that's 2 pages, 2 parts of the flap done. Now we're just going to add these bits on here, and then we've just got this bit here to cover up. I think I'm going to use that die. Okay. you can hear some walking around and some rustling in the background, as I've said on previous videos, I share my studio with my daughter, and she's got some work to do for uni, so she's just bobbing around. I would say hi, but she's just shaking her head and she's going hi. Right, the last part of this tutorial is to put the 2 pages that we've made together and put them into our album. So to do that, we are going to make sure that they are the right way up. So I'm going to go with that way. What we need to do is they're going to sit on here. I'm going to come down so that you can see. Okay. So this is our hinge, and we're going to adhere this page to the hinge and burnish that down, and then we're going to add our glue only around the outside. We're going to leave the top bit free, okay, because we're going to use that as a pocket. So let's come back out again. So if you want to, you could use double-sided tape. That might be easier, might be quicker, but I have a lot of little clips here that I'm going to use to put around my page. I am going to put an extra piece of high-tack tape along the bottom here, just to give it that extra sticking power. Okay, cut that off. Like so. Okay, let's take this off and take this one off, and let's line it up. Let me just get a brush. With the black card, it seems to show up all the pieces of dust and things, so let's just wipe that all off so I don't get dust on there. Okay, so line it up so that you've got equal distance between the 2 ends, and then how I would do it, or how I'm going to do it, is I'm just going to stand it up and very gently burnish it into place. Okay, so that's one page done. I'm going to just bend that over just to, there we go, get a bit of bendability. So we're going to do the same with this one. Again, I'm going to put double-sided tape along the bottom, and just to give it that helping hand. Burnish that down. And take the tape off this one to doesn't want to come. There we go. So we're going to line it up with the bottom. No, actually I'm going to line it up with the top. And then what I'm going to do is, I want to get this perfect, so it might take a little while. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a clip, and I'm going to clip them into place like so. Pull that up like so. Okay, and then as soon as you've got it, burnish it down. So work out, that's going to be my top, so we need to work from the bottom and put our glue in there and go around, and then glue down that side there. Now don't glue this part here because we need that width to be able to get a good sized label in there, so just glue up to the corner there. I'm going to put a little bit more on the bottom, and then I'm going to push closed and then clip in place. Okay. Now you could have the opening here if you wanted to, and I'd just put some little finger grooves, pull holes in there, but I wanted to do from the top end for a change. So there. Right. So that is the end of part 2 of our tutorial, our step-by-step guide on making this album. So we'll just do a quick recap. So we have our page 1, which is a flap using the Memory Book 1 dies. Open up, and then we've got a little secret compartment there with an extra tab. I'm going to put another few tabs in there, tags in there as well, and so that's page number 1. Then page number 2, we go for the same thing for the flip, the flip and flap, but this time using the Keepsake Memory Book 2 dies, and this was the smaller page die and then the layer die to match. Now let me just put that on there, that down there. So then you open that up and you have a part there, something there to put something in, photographs, journaling, a bit of memorabilia, and then you've got some space either side for that. They're all closed with magnetic snaps, so that keeps everything nice and firm and neat. And then that's going to be, when it's finished, that's the album. Well, thanks for staying with me. I'm sorry this video has turned out to be really long. It's quite late here, so I'm sort of chasing my tail a little bit, as they say. And please give me a like and a subscribe so that you can keep up to date with all my videos that I post online. If you want to follow me, I'm on Facebook, Pinterest. I have a blog, and I'm also on Instagram as well. If you either search Poshcat Crafts or Tamara Morton, then it should then lead you to one of my social media sites. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on part 3. Bye.